All right, what's up, y'all? The only true glory is the glory we give ourselves and the glory we give to others. It is but a losing game to hold out on glory until others give it to us because it may never come. That's where the desperation comes from. You go on Facebook and you go on Instagram and you have the people who upload their pictures of the new house that they got, the new body that they worked on, or whatever it is. In most cases, it's going to be something they worked on, or maybe it's a filter they hid behind. Whatever it is, if we had to look at the skeletons of what social media is, what Facebook and what Instagram is, let's call it s- damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind, I remember. Let's call it validation book, validation gram. That's all it is. It's all about validation. Zero likes. I guess I'm not important. I guess I'm ugly. Nobody finds me attractive. Nobody finds me witty. 2,000 likes, I'm a rock star. I mean something to somebody. In fact, zero likes is a blessing, actually. It's a sign that maybe you should be doing something else. Not trying to up the ante to see how much more attention you can get. See, or to see what you can do to get some of that attention. It's like cocaine, man. It's like drugs. It really is. You be chasing that warmth, especially if you ever go viral. You be doing anything to get that shit. Doing the eyebrow shaving challenge or whatever new challenge it is. Set yourself on fire. Stab yourself challenge. All of these things. All of these things. But anyway, that was a long-winded introduction into what I really want to talk about. And what I want to talk about is because I've been speaking on the Sigma male, which some would put above or on the same level as an alpha male. The difference, the core difference, is that you more so care about leading yourself rather than others. But what you will find is, like I said before, if you get into a good motion of leading yourself, then you may find yourself in a great position to lead others. You don't want to, you know, hop the fence, so to speak. You don't want to go jumping from A to L. You know, it's progressions that you would like to take, and I don't wouldn't necessarily, see uh, being a Sigma male the platform that you step on before you get to alpha male, but I think it really does open up a pipeline. Some people, I don't know, it's just innate. Maybe they grew up around their father or whatever it is, or somebody really dominant, they just inherit that type of leadership skills. Other people like myself, I grew up really shy, had a lot of beta tendencies, and I mean, I could play whatever role really when I need to, but what fits better for me, what's always been the thing for me is to move to the beat of my own drum, dance to my own music, no matter what music is going on, talk to myself if I have to, avoid the group to talk to myself. That's what the power is. It's going well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, man? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Um, okay, we got our people. We got my people in here. Good, good. And so basically, especially like if you got a maybe if you got a history of low self-esteem, you got a history of feeling like you've been overlooked, you know, feeling like you're a loser, an outcast, a pariah. Oh, they don't get it. They never get it. Or if you're one of those people, you're like, oh, can somebody just please be proud of me? I'm trying. It can actually put you in a very, very dark space with that mindset. But this is why, I mean, goddamn, it takes an insane person to come up with these type of philosophies, but they work. And some people, they just go with it without revealing how morbid they can be. But really, or you know, just showing how much of a not really revealing how much of a quote unquote loser that you can be. Yo, what's up, man? Thank you for checking in. That's why I came up with certain tactics. So like first of all, I talk to myself a lot. I talk to myself a lot. I uh I play out a lot of scenarios in my head, which is good um to me, because it really gets my imagination going. I never lost my imagination. I've been this way since I was a child. Just always talking to myself. So much so that it's probably better if I do get away from the people, you know, and always finding something to work on, something to satisfy me. Um, so I mean, I guess you would say um, a loner of sorts. And I sort of detest groupthink, and this is how I find myself alone a lot. But that doesn't come without its pain. That doesn't come without wanting to feel like you belong. And a lot of people who feel like that, they may either jump the gun or put themselves into a box to where they could get the most attention. We aren't dummies. We see what's getting the most attention, and so we do it. All right. So for women, for example, a lot of women maybe they have low self-esteem and they hide behind the filters and all of these things, you know. And so it's not uncommon to see one woman doing what a lot of women do. A very common thing that I may see. You see a woman, they put the camera on them for 5 seconds or whatever on Instagram, lip syncing to music. That's a common thing. At one point it was the women putting them. I mean, it probably still is. The thing. Women put their ass on the sink, take pictures, whatever it is, get that attention. Attention feels good. It really does. The lengths men have to go through to get attention. They have to say some very outlandish things, do some very risky things, or I don't know, maybe be extremely funny or make themselves look stupid, you know. And by the way, I'm not generalizing. I mean, you can carve a niche out however you see fit. But what I found that is, what is very advantageous at a time like this is to find a type of commitment, content uh, within your own personal journey, and you have to celebrate yourself as if you are your biggest fan. Okay. In fact, let me write that down real quick because I just want to check out some of these comments. Biggest fan. Know anything about me? My memory is shit. So I really like putting myself out on the spot like this. I really do. I have a very vivid imagination, but sometimes I'm in my head a bit too much. Well, when you say a bit in your head too much, the first thing that really comes to my mind is kind of psyching yourself out. All right. And that's when you care about too much of what people have to say. And so to that, I can definitely relate to that. That resonates with me. A great practice of mine. I mean, if you know anything about me, the way I go about life is just a bunch of little things working in unison, working together. And so, first of all, obviously I like to do a little bit of meditation to shake things off and center myself and be very present with the moment. Another thing is to let disgust dictate what's next for me. So if you ever been disgusted enough, maybe this is the type of person you are. I don't know, but this is how it works for me. If you've been disgusted enough with how you've been doing certain things, that's kind of all you need in that moment to get yourself a little spark. You know, if you don't like how you look when you look in the mirror, then that disgust may force you to start doing some squats or some jumping jacks or some push-ups or whatever it is. you know Ultimately, at the end of the day, I tie all these things together, but the most important thing that I can say before I lose my place in this conversation is that you want to get to the point where you don't care about the outcome, because at the end of the day, who cares? It doesn't really matter, man. If it's if it doesn't mean life or death when it comes to your family or yourself, if it doesn't interfere with your faith and what's truly meaningful to you, because there are things that are meaningful to you, and things that are meaningful to you, but you don't even know why, they just are. If you can kind of eliminate some of those things that matter to you, but they shouldn't, then you're really going to open yourself up to kind of to be more natural, to be somebody who always comes to my mind when I think about being natural is Basquiat. You know what I'm saying? I can think of a lot of people. I can think of some modern day people too. But Basquiat, man. Now people say, "Oh, his paint is like a 5 year old did it, 4 year old did whatever it is." He was his own culture, started by tagging walls. You know what I'm saying? But even in his prime, even when he had people around, even with music playing and the television on, he was in his zone. Even with expensive clothes on, he was in his zone, just doing the same thing that made him that money when he was completely broke. Just immersing himself. Repetition, repetition, repetition. People like to make the argument quality over quantity, quality over quantity. But it's very subjective, my friends. It is very subjective. And because of that statement alone, if you can embody that, it really does enable you to just keep taking shots, keep taking shots. In fact, prepare for the negative comments. They're coming. All right. In fact, expect everything that you put out there to be torn apart. That's what I learned. That's what I learned from Thick Face Black Heart. So if you take somebody like I gotta talk about him. If you take somebody like a Donald Trump, for example, there's nothing that you can say to affect him because he already knows it's coming. And when you know something is coming, a lot of us we got these sweet hearts, we got these big hearts, and we leave our guards down. We always turn a blind eye to the possibility that what we put out there can get crushed. Now, let me just say, because of that reason alone, we don't take the necessary actions that we should take. I mean, don't get it twisted. All right, I'll definitely won't turn a blind eye to that. But everything kind of in spite of that, when you think think you're free of you think you're in the free. You think you're in the clear when it comes to criticism and judgment, things like that. You may be doing something very simple. You may be just shopping around the grocery store and you got your guards down or whatever, and then you're susceptible to maybe some harsh criticism, whatever it may be. It's just an example. All right. One thing that I'm trying to learn right now is because I know that there is a downside to spending a lot of time to yourself. Now I got children. I got a child. I got a child. I still do spend time around people. I do, but I still spend a lot of time to myself. And earlier I had mentioned how I jumped the gun, or how jumping the gun can kind of come as a result of you feeling lonely and things like that. So my example of jumping the gun is, hey, look, guys, I'm working out. You know what I'm saying? Taking a picture every day. Look at my body. Look at my body. It looks the same as it did last month. Look at my muscles. Things like that. That's what I would call jumping the gun. you know and if you were here, some people come on Facebook, and maybe you heard this in so many other places. you know I make my moves in silence. Make your moves in silence. Yes. All right. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting an audience. In fact, i mean look, I have an audience right now, but you know what I'm saying, get something out of it. When you demand the attention from people, that's why I made this YouTube channel kind of a no nonsense type of thing. You got to be willing to give them something. It's not about you. It's not about, hey guys, all eyes on me. I could be a star like everybody else. No, when I show up, I want to I want to give you something. I'm thinking about my legacy. That's one of the things that I think about the most when I am alone, which is most of the time, is legacy. Like the Ozzy Osbourne song, I don't want to die an ordinary man. Okay, legacy. Let me go ahead and bookmark me right there, and let's see what we were saying. Let me see. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. We should do some call-ins to talk. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was in class and this girl brought this note to me. This is someone who has talked crap about me in the past, but I guess they just wanted to know my name. I thought I was being clown. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. When people are around me laughing or something like that, I can't hear what they're saying. I sometimes think they're talking about me. And because you know what, there have been times where people were talking about me, they were making fun of me. And I gotta admit, sometimes I have a tough time with that. I don't really like people making fun of me. Um, I don't know, insecurity, whatever it is, don't want to be embarrassed. I mean, who really wants to be embarrassed? But you have to expect these things. It's a very important law of life, very underrated, is that everything you put out there, expect for people to try to tear it down. And because I say some things that may be a bit controversial, you know, I should expect for people to share the things I say. And if I go to see who shared, you can very easily trick yourself in thinking that everybody who shares what you say on Facebook, they agree. Then you go to the threads and they trashing you. I mean, I even had people uploading pictures of me making fun of me, man. That was tough. That was tough, but it was good for me because all it really told me was, you know what, I need to up the ante, man. You know what I'm saying? Then you think about some of the people who get the most criticism in this world. You think they paying attention to all these little ass comments from people who don't, who couldn't do anything to get in the way of them, let alone help them get to where they want to be. That's the mindset we gotta have. You know what I'm saying? And so I never like to look at myself as if I'm just so superior to everybody else. But you don't want to be floating around with the common folk if you don't want common results. If I were really on my shit, if I were really practicing the way of the Sigma male, I wouldn't have known what they were saying about me. It doesn't matter. They didn't even direct it towards me. You know what I'm saying? That's cowardice. They ain't at me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see no at, no, I wasn't tagged in anything. But because I had to be nosy, I had to see what people were saying about it, because I guess I'm not getting enough attention. I set myself up for that. And I have to deal with that. But also, I have to step my game up. All right. If you're tired of the same old, if you're tired of the same old disappointments, if you're tired of just dealing with the same old problems, then you got to shut the fuck up and step the fuck up. Do something else. Really. It's funny because at one point, at one point I was probably drunk when I said this was much earlier in the year. Been sober for a while now. I had said, you know, Facebook is a plantation. And it's like even we don't even really want to be on Facebook or whatever your social media of choice is. It- It's just we feel pulled to it. I mean, look, all right, by now you already know, and I'm not making this up, obviously. Guy who used to work for Facebook said they teamed up with people who run casinos to make this as addictive as possible. And I'm sure a lot of phone companies in general have caught on to this. So I remember, like, I know I had one phone specifically where every notification sound was the same, and if there were a way to change it, I couldn't figure that out. So I had to keep checking my phone. Is it an email? Is it a text? Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Forces you to check it, you know. But it doesn't matter if they were different notifications anyway. You just kind of feel forced to check it. What's happening? What's new? What's being directed to me? It's really fucking us up here. It really is. A lot of profanity tonight. I would tell you that I'm sorry, but I'm not. Bear with me, please. What's up, my brother? Feel free to speak. Say something to me. I'm glad you are talking to me tonight. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good personally. Just wanted to get this message out there. Last thing that I bookmarked, I was talking about legacy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do try. In my own personal life, I feel I feel invisible. I feel invisible among the people in my family. I feel like nobody ever listens to me. But so long as I listen to myself, that's all that should matter. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it is what it is. Again, I shouldn't be in it for validation. Only personal validation should give myself the glory and always remain humble. And I can't help but to remain humble with all of the suffering that's in this world. It hurts. I like to be very stoic and just kind of take my emotion out of everything, but it's tough. I even have a tough time enjoying things. Sometimes I just sit to myself. I sit and I think to myself, I'm like, man, you could do whatever you want today. Damn near just whatever you want. I mean, it just really is a blessing, man. But I don't want to get too comfortable and I don't want to get complacent. A lot of work to do. A lot of work. Much love, much love. So you feel like nobody truly knows you. I got something. I got something for you. Make sure you know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, anything that anybody says to you, you can easily believe it. It may plant that seed of doubt. All right. That's why you got a lot of these people with all the charisma in the world. They're able to deflect the things that they say, even join in on a joke. It's because they know who they are. That's what you call knowledge of self. So long as you can master yourself, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. Most people, they don't master themselves. They let the TV become their masters. They let popular opinions become their masters. Social media, the trend, they let them become their masters. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no fucking master. All right. Fact of the matter is, when I'm down and out, ain't too many people line up to try to fucking help me. And the people who do line up to help me, they ain't trying to put a chain around my neck. And that's all that mattered to me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel no need to show loyalty to people who ain't give a fuck about me, man. That's real talk. That's real talk, man. It don't matter how much I do for somebody, man. They don't gotta be my goddamn slave. I need them to know who they are to themselves, man. It's all about empowerment. You know, I'm big on that. See what we got here. I feel pretty worthless. In a lot of ways, I am, but I've done that to myself. I'm trying to figure things out. You know what I'm saying? It may seem like I got an answer for everything. It's just because I treat everything like it's a chessboard. It's just like it's a chess board in front of me. And whatever narrative it is, I try to run with it, but not in a way that makes me feel small. So if you feel worthless, accept it. Don't accept it as that's all you'll ever be, because then you start looking for justifications. Oh, oh, damn! I got a 68 on the test. See, I'm worthless. You know what I'm saying? You start finding a reason. See, I told you I'm worthless. See, oh, nobody likes me. You just start tying everything together. But if you say you're worthless, you know what I'm saying? Express that. You know what I'm saying? Or use that. Because if I say express that, then you may think I mean do some trashy things, make other people feel worthless. And that's not what I mean. So instead, I just want to talk about, like, you know, release. Once you accept it, oh, I feel worthless. So then when you get to that point, then you're like, all right, well, then what do I have to lose? I got nothing to lose now. So why does it matter what people have to think? I was worthless before. I guess I'll just be worthless. And it shouldn't matter what anybody says to you at that point. What do you have to lose? It ain't like you walking around the world saying, I'm so perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like you got some brand new shoes, not trying to get a scuff on it. You got scuffs. And that's the beauty of life. The more life beats you down, the more you can take a punch. You know what I'm saying? Remember, you got these brand new shoes at one point where you didn't want nobody even to look at them. And all of a sudden, they start getting messed up every once in a while. You say, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna be using these motherfuckers to dig up dirt, play basketball, whatever, skateboard, uh, put out a fire in these things. You know what I'm saying? And you feel more bulletproof, and that's the benefit of feeling like a low life. The beauty of that is you can always keep that edge. You can always keep that edge. So my favorite writer, hands down, is Charles Bukowski. He molded a culture, from being an abused alcoholic, a loser of sorts, an iconoclast. And he went with that. It was in his writing. It was so raw, it was so real. When he wrote, I mean, I could read his stuff over and over and over again. So beautiful, so simple. When he wrote, it wasn't like, oh, the sky was so beautiful, the sun, it nearly blinded me with this, you know, you know what I'm saying? It was more so like, I walked past the bum on the street. Hey, you got $2? The bum says, do you got $2? Look at me. It'd be raw things like that, things that you would probably say in your everyday life, and you run with it. You run with who you are. Who you are not only makes you unique, it will help you carve out a future for yourself and make you more relatable. That's why I'm talking right now. And I get, you people say, oh, you're so wise, so relatable, all these things. Because whatever I feel, I just run with it. You know what I'm saying? If I watch if I watch Godfather, or if I watch something like that, well, then I'm just going to treat myself. I'm going to treat myself like I'm a boss or something like that. And maybe I'll be more decisive and things like that. If I watch somebody who makes me think, if I watching them make chess-like moves in real life, then I want to go on the chessboard. Then I want to be cerebral. Whatever it is, however you feel, just run with it, but don't succumb to it, because you keep waking up every day, which means you're still in the game. And that's more important than just about anything. You're still in the game, man. You know what I'm saying? You ever watch a good team play a sorry ass team? You're like, man, this score pretty goddamn close. I need to break away. And before you know it, by the end of the game, a sorry ass team, they didn't have a chance, but they won. So long as you're in the game, it don't matter how sorry you are, you can still come out on top. All right. When they say it's a marathon, they don't really, obviously it's a snapshot of a inspirational quote, to say the least. But you know, compound interest, so to speak, is your best friend. So do little by little every day. All right, you do 100 or 200 squats every day in 30 days. You'd be glad you did it. You know what I'm saying? Just things like that. Just a little bit every day. Whatever your goal is, just break it down. Do a little bit every day. And I'm glad every time I say this, I'm speaking to myself. There are obviously some things that I do apply this to. Other things, okay, I get around to it. But I know that I've done it so many times that I understand how this works. You just hop right into it, man. It's very simple. You know what I'm saying? You say you want to write a book. Look, you can write 200 words. You can write 200 words a day over the course of a year. What's that? That's over 70,000. Over 70,000 words. Something like that. It's that easy. That's the power. That's the compound effect. It's a great book. I believe that's what it's called, the compound effect. Compound. Okay, let's see what we got here. Damn. This past year, I started to know myself, and others' words don't quite hurt as much. Exactly. Always be in touch with who you are. Always give yourself the most attention, the most glory, the most care. All right. That's what I call necessary narcissism. All right. That doesn't mean you don't care about anybody else, but if there's an imbalance, then narcissism is the key. All right. Yeah, I got to use a word like that. As a black cop, I try to go through these times stoical resolve, but sometimes I definitely feel along for the ride of a tragic movie. I'm too black and too blue to ever be understood. Yeah, I understand how that can put you in a very, very compromising position, especially if you have to deal with two types of stereotypes. It must be extremely tough, Um, I mean, what do I say about that, man? I mean, my only advice is to make sure that you always remind yourself why you even got into doing this. You didn't get into this to, be as bad as they make you out to be. In my life, I have experience with talking shit um, to the police, but there have definitely been times where they probably should have locked me up, and I got away with it. And so I never really had to deal with the injustices that I see other people have to deal with. But I mean that's all I can really say. I mean, so long as you see police brutality, you're always going to be kind of thrown into that bunch. But all you can really do is to be the change that you wanted to see. That's the reason why you got into there. To this, I imagine, you want to make a difference, and that's what it all comes down to. Like, we all want to feel significant in our lives, and we do anything just to get a taste of it. You know what I'm saying? In this on-demand world, we'd be happy just to get a taste, a lick, a sniff of it. It's tough. It really is. When you're doing your best and it just feels like nobody's noticing it. And that's why you have to do just like it's just insane things. You have to sing your own praises. And then a lot of people, you give them a lot of flack for, like, having like a Kanye West complex, or just talking about Kanye West in general. I mean, when he was just quintessential Kanye West, where he's just like, man, he's the biggest narcissist in the world. Fact of the matter is, like, nobody, you can't count on anybody else to sing your praises. That's just how it goes. It really is. I understand. I understand, which kind of contradicts, the reason why I even made this talking about just staying quiet and things like that. And I figure it's supposed to be an internal thing, but if you celebrate yourself out in the open, you're not necessarily directing it to anybody. I feel like that still counts. Still counts as something. You just kind of just putting it out there to whom it may concern, and also getting comfortable with separating yourself just from the outcome. Being free to release this, double down on who you are. Nobody should have more say so as to what you should do than you. I did a lot of self-loathing in the past. Same. Gets you nowhere, and it'll get you nowhere, and it gets you nowhere fast. You don't have to wait long. Glad I could help. What author, what artist? Charles Bukowski. He's an author. It's kind of low life nonfiction fiction hybrid. A lot of people would say that his books were actually nonfiction. He just changed up a couple of names. But if you did choose to write fiction, then it's kind of laid out for you. You don't spend too much time talking about how the scene looked. Just get straight to the meat and potatoes. There's a reason why a lot of people start and stop. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they had to write, like, J.K. Rowling, write like George R. R. Martin. No. Do your own thing, and that's the beauty of life. There's gonna be a market for everything. There's gonna be people who rally behind everything. There's something for everybody. All right, you go around chasing somebody else's already done, then maybe you might get some of their crumbs. You know what I'm saying? When the Migos came out, people were already too far behind to try to emulate the Migos. All right, Migos is taken now. Do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's happening. That's what catches on. Somebody just doing their own thing. Like, oh, look at this guy. It's always something. Think about who's popular. There's always a narrative about him. Always a narrative. All right, what's your narrative? Ride that shit out. Whatever it is, ride it out. Humanize police, unite them closer to the communities. Yeah. To tell you the truth, I'm proud to be black. Very proud to be a black man. So when I see the police brutality, and I did have to deal with I did have to deal with a little police brutality before. Not too harsh, not too harsh. But what I think a lot of what you see through the news is a combination of things. In modern day history, well, I think it's a lot of acting. Let me just say that. I don't want to offend anybody, but I think it's a lot of acting. I do think it is staged. And before that, I mean, let's just face it. White cops in America, you know what I'm saying? When they take that costume off, so to speak, they put on another one. You know what I'm saying? The KKK did exist. It does exist. And they pretty much make everybody look bad. It's a lot of room for corruption. It really is. All right. Let's not forget that slave patrol used to be a thing. It is what it is. It's always going to have that ghost floating around. But I do believe in the future where we see, and I may be alive to see this. Much better days. Much better days. Maybe this will be part of the whole Nassar thing. We'll see. All right. I don't want to hold my breath, but I just certain things that I just got to put my flag in the ground every once in a while. Certain things that I just see right now. I look like a fool with some of the things that I say is coming. And I wish some of these things would pop up. I got people threatening to walk out of my life because of the way that I see the world, man. It's just you got to accept those things. I really do. Oh, you do? Charles Bukowski books. Yeah, man, his books are fantastic. Mm, see the world crumbling. And that's another thing. I'm not necessarily tapped in to what everyone is feeling. I would have thought that the conversations would have been much more tense these days, but really it's what it's always been. And a lot of celebrity gossip, and right now the thing is Trump Biden, those things. But if the common thing is, and maybe it still is, I mean, it's easy to keep things off social media, but the common thing is that there's a lot of fear because there's a lot of uncertainty in this world. I mean, there's always have been, but the distractions, they aren't working as well, maybe for some of them, because things are getting real. And this is, why, when I talk to myself, I say, well, look, this is when it's time for you to really take a step back, not necessarily unplug, even though that's a good thing, but like detach in a sense. So how can you do that? How can you do that but still engaging in some of these things that suck you right in? And that's why I started doing things like when I get on Facebook, don't even scroll. I've been doing that lately just to look for people to unfollow, or so I tell myself that. But really, I would just get on there, post what's on my mind, and then leave. But really, it feels like less and less incentive to really even do that. But anyway, regardless, the point I'm trying to make is that you take this time to try to build yourself up. All right. So I got my YouTube algorithm popping for me. It brings up a lot of informative things that I've gone searching for in the past. Keep the chessboard in front of me. Got the Kindle Unlimited. These things. These are the things that I rely on. Working out frequently, meditating frequently, even playing the video games. Thing is, I am kind of consumed right now by the times. I will go on Twitter quite often just to see maybe what's trending, see what some of my truthers are talking about. See if I get some ideas for some things to talk about. But just I just want to see what's going on uh, in the world, as in a way that's not told by the mainstream media. So it's tough to back out completely with who I am as a person. For all I know, I may be giving myself the type of training that is necessary to become journalist 2.0. All right, journalist 2.0. And what that means to me is that you don't report what is handed to you. You seek the truth and you report it as you see it. All right. You don't just go passing on some information. All right. That's why we got into this shithole that we're in right now. The media is very powerful. And so we all owe it to ourselves and the people that we love to at least seek the truth for ourselves. Because you can tell people whatever you want. They're not gonna listen. All right. If it didn't happen on channel 5 or any of them single digit number channels, they don't want to hear it. Okay. So certain things you're just going to have to leave to time. But for the rest of it, you got to give your own self some peace of mind. There's a reason why why I do these things, and then I report it as I see it. You know, and why I make videos like this in general, because what I found is that what comes natural to me, it's not that easy for somebody. They might not even be thinking of that. I may have brought up something you never even thought about, or something that was lying dormant in you, and it just like woke something up. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I can't underestimate. And with you, the things that come natural to you, don't underestimate it, because you never know uh who may need it. All right. That's why I always encourage anybody hey, if you talk on the phone longer than a goddamn hour, and a lot of you, I'm sure you've been on the phone for an hour. You're like, man, I can write a goddamn book, can I? Yeah, yeah, do that. Write a book. Pull out this YouTube. It's therapy. It's therapy. Even if it's more so for you. I mean, it should be for you. Everything that you should do should damn near, be for you. Now, that doesn't mean don't do anything for others or expect something in return. I'm just saying, especially if you don't feel balanced, you got to do these things for yourself. Notice that Dave Chappelle had to give up all he did. He be deemed crazy. Now he's probably the most influential free thinkers in the country. Yeah. In the video that I made about chess, give up good for great. You may see a lot of people selling themselves out to get some temporary relief, some temporary attention, or some immediate attention, or whatever it may be. But don't let that blind you, because what I see is, now you may find a lot of people, or you may find somebody on your friends list or whatever. They get a lot of validation, a lot of attention, a lot of thirst, whatever it is, you know. And the thing about that is, if that's what they seek, which that's what a lot of people seek subconsciously, then they may never find what it means to truly be them, because they're going to just keep giving the people what they want and not what you want to give them. You know what I'm saying? Not what they want to give them. A lot of people right now who have relegated themselves to smaller roles for, some quick, fast, and a hurry attention, for a quick dopamine shot, when they could have traded that for a lifetime. And I know some of you may say, "Oh, why can't you do both?" Yeah, yeah, you could do both. Do it. I challenge you. But you can trade that for a lifetime of satisfaction. You know, and so that's often the thing that really does get in our way. You know, for example, I've published 11 books. They aren't huge books, but they seem to get bigger as time goes on. My next one is going to be the biggest one. It would be a lot easier if it seemed like I had a team, or people always saying, "Yeah, yeah," patting you on the back, say, "Yeah, you're the greatest writer ever. When your next book coming out?" Just every day, just every day. It must feel like a blessing just to have so much attention. So it does take a lot of discipline to do these things, because in my mind, they don't need it, and that's one of the harshest realities, one of the harshest facts that I have to swallow, is that no matter what I can do for the world, what I've done, what I'm doing, they don't need it. they can get it from somebody else. So then why would I do this? Because I feel like it. Because this is what feels natural to me. It's because after all, do feel like I do care about legacy. You know, and I said this before. I put out hundreds of videos. I put out quite a few books, and and there'll be some other things that I'll put out that I won't speak on right now. People closest to me, you haven't seen my mom. She haven't read a single one of my books. She hasn't seen any of my videos. You know, but it's my hope that someday, hopefully, if this stuff is still around, when I die, people will have this to remember me by. I just think that's a great thing because a lot of people, you lose your granddad, you lose your uncle, somebody that you love, and all you got is memories and smells in the clothes that will eventually fade. But this, ideally, theoretically, will live on forever. And it's worth, even if I spent the rest of my life feeling lonely, it'll be worth it to do these things. 'Cause life is short, man. This one is. I mean, I don't know. It's short enough. And for damn sure, this lifetime, I gotta say that because I don't know, I might come right on back. It just won't last forever. And this is why I like to cut a lot of the fat out of life so I can really focus on what's meaningful to me. And I gotta admit, I'm not all there. I'm still a little damaged, man. Still a little damaged in a sense. And the people who mean the most to me, I could probably stand to spend more time around them, but what it's probably going to turn into is me regretting that I didn't. Could. I don't know. Can't spend time with everybody all the time. But obviously it's magnetic forces that kind of push us apart. Because now I don't want to be around certain people who do certain things. And that's just the life, man. Like my mom, she could be very negative. She complains a lot, and that's not the type of energy I want to be around. A lot of my closest friends, they drink a lot. I'm sober. It's I don't have a history of being around people who are drinking and not drinking myself. It doesn't mean if I get around them I'm going to drink, but it just means like if I get around them and I'm not drinking, everybody else is drinking. I'm not the type of person who can just be like, I'm having fun too. That's just not me. It's the reason why I used to drink quite a bit. Be the first one to drink, and then you don't. Then you just kind of within the same realm as them. Now you can be in the same room, but not the same realm. You get drunk or you get high with them, then you in the same realm, man. That's just how it works. All right, but and I'm not trying to have a fixed mindset and say, oh, someday I can't. There can't be a day where I do hang around people who drink and things like that. But again, right now, it's all about mastering myself. Right now, like a lot of you, I'm still being affected by things that shouldn't matter. I still, to some degree, settle for things that I shouldn't be settling for. And subconsciously, if I think about it consciously, I understand that subconsciously, it's self-esteem. Is I have low confidence when it comes to certain things, low self-esteem. So I'm going to settle for certain things. All right. So this is why I do the things that I can do when nobody else is around because it's going to compound. All right. Since May, so back in May when I went to the hospital, I knew that I wanted to make some changes. And so I knew that I wanted to be sober, but I also knew that I wanted to gain some weight. All right. So that was back in May. And since then, I gained 14 pounds. This is the most I've ever weighed in my life. I gained 14 pounds, 15 pounds. And I just started taking creatine too. So it's gonna go up some more. And I'm working out and I'm focused. And I'm showing myself day in and day out that I can craft the reality that I want. But the more I do that, the more I realize something though, especially as I keep my head on the chessboard, is that there aren't too many people around me doing that. It's just like how it's always been. I was just too far down to notice that most people, especially in my age group, I'm 29 years old, they just circling. They just circling around. That's what they call the rat race. And some people they spend their whole lives doing that. And I already got it figured out in that regard. I'm free of that. I'm free of that mentality. If I can have it my way, I'll never have a boss again. And I may just have it my way because I like to call myself a weasel. I keep finding ways to just not have to do anything, have nothing to do with society. And this go around, as I'm near my 30s, it's not because somebody's buying my food, somebody's paying it's not that. I still pay all of my bills and I take care of my daughter. And if I can have it this way for the rest of my life, then I will. Okay. This is how I want things to be. I have a certain insight that I don't want any blockages. Now this doesn't mean that if shit really does hit the fan and I just run out of funds and I have no means to do it, that I won't just pick up a job. So that don't mean that. You gotta do what you gotta do. All right. Remember the Sigma male and the Sigma female, man, women be hitting it hard. I realize that the most successful women outside of the vanity professions, they have a very alpha mentality about them. They really do. I really noticed that. Most successful women, they're like alpha. They're like alpha females, or you call them sigma females. You know what I'm saying? They just self motivated. They you don't. Maybe they can take orders, but you don't need them to. All right. They set their alarms to wake up at 4:30. They push themselves to exercise. All of those things. They seem to be the most successful. But that's just how I'm wired though. I've been like this kind of my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Now look, I have a history of being shy. Even being cowardice to a sense in a sense because I don't particularly like confrontation and things like that. But if I get pushed enough, then I just kind of, I snap, because I don't like people telling me what to do. But even as a child, I do what I do now. I spend a lot of time to myself, talking to myself, drawing, playing the game. I even got in trouble a couple times in class because I just wouldn't pay attention because instead of doing what they wanted me to do, I would be trying to like write books. This is me in third grade, man. I would try to write books, or especially during like history class or something. I'd just go to sleep. I've always just decided that I was going to do what I wanted to do. It didn't always turn out the best way, but it molded me into who I am. So now I got a daughter who's just like that. We both Tauruses. I got a daughter that's kind of like that too. And so now it's like I know how to kind of cultivate who she's going to be. I understand her rebellious nature. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful to me. Some people say, "Oh, you hate when you get a child that's just like you," but I kind of like it, man. She's rebellious. She doesn't always listen, and I'll try to find a way to get that balance going. I'll do the opposite of what my mom did. My mom, she's like, "You don't have a choice." I'm like, "I don't have a choice." Well, then I'll make a fucking choice. You know what I'm saying? I can't go outside. Well, then I will sneak outside. Instead, for my daughter, I will do something like I'll give her multiple choices. All of the choices being choices I give her to give her the illusion that she chose. That's a parenting tip right there. Come on now. Give me some. I do have a podcast. My podcast is called Flawed and Found with Milo Nowhere. Everywhere podcasts are streaming, but really it's just now there are some things that are exclusive on there because I'll just record it from the phone or whatever it is. But really I just take everything from here and put it on there. I mean, I don't know if that's cheap to you, but I've gone quite international because of that. In fact, I need to update it. You know what I'm saying? But I got like over 200 of these videos on there. Um, definitely getting some attention. Like I said, streaming in like 60, 70 countries, you know, and shit, maybe I should take, I need to, take some time. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow, or I guess when all the football games on or whatever, to put more up there. I mean, I was about to say so far they done pay me more than YouTube, but that's not necessarily true now. But yeah, I'm on there. You are being the change. That's what freedom looks like. Yeah, thank you. The thing about that is, you know, I'm a MacGyver. I'm a MacGyver type person. I'm resourceful. So that's very encouraging because this is readily available to all of you. And so the thing that's big for me is I just keep planting seeds. Always looking for a way out. If I see that somebody else did it, then I'm gonna try to extract information from it. Every time I have any little problem, you name it, best believe I done researched it. How to have tough skin, how to get over a breakup. You know what I'm saying? How to have better sex, how to last longer in bed. Every little question I ask. I never leave a question up to chance where I would, just ask myself. I mean, I guess you do get to that point after you do so much research, but I never get to the point where if people around me don't know it, or if people on Facebook don't know it, that I just stop there. No, I'm always looking. Always looking. My algorithm depicts that. How to build business credit, how to work for yourself. Man, I was listening to these things when I was working in construction, just always looking up things, just every little thing makes a difference. All right. So that's why if I had to refer to myself as something, I just call myself Gumbo. And I even made it an acronym, but I can't even think about what the acronym is. Gathering Ultimate. No, I forget. I forget. But gumbo. All right, just mixing everything together. Individually, you might not, it may not make a difference. It don't really have much of a taste, or it's too strong with it. You mix it all together and you say, okay, yeah, all right, this works for me. So you always got to just add something to it. You know what I'm saying? You ever had one of those people, or maybe you're one of those people who just cooking and as it goes along, like, man, this tastes good, but let me put some pepper in there, some garlic. That's what I am. All right, that's how I like to go about things, man. Because if there's if it's if I haven't taken anything away from the art of war, and everybody should read it, everyone should read it, is that if you know where your enemy is, then you send everything at it. Everything at it. All right. If your enemies are spread it out, then you just divide your forces. Boom, 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 boom. But if your enemy is in one place, if you want to focus on one enemy at a time, then you take that enemy and you throw everything at it. So for me, when it comes to let's say putting on weight. All right, I don't just work out, I eat. But I don't just work out and eat. I practice semen retention. I don't just do those things. I'll take creatine. I make sure I drink enough water, but I don't just do those things. I drink a meal replacement / protein shake. I'll do those things. And then I'll do some intermittent fasting. I'll do that as well. All right. Maybe even, just eat in between time, get some workouts in when I have some free time. Just throw everything at it to get massive results. And it's a very compound thing. And also because I can be resourceful, I try to find a way to get results the quickest. All right. I don't take steroids or nothing, but when I work out, I try to work out to failure. All right. You be very surprised how quick you can get some results. And doing leg exercises, you can do, you can do 100 jumping squats starting out per day and be very happy with the results. You know what I'm saying? I've been skinny my whole life. Prior to this year, the most I've ever weighed was like 133 pounds. All right. Now I weigh 143, I think. Maybe 142. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And once you show yourself that you can do something, then you got the formula. All right. So from the moment I showed myself, hey, I published the book. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. I mean, I didn't have no spelling errors or anything like that, and it wasn't a bestseller or whatever. But once you show yourself that you can do it, then that's it. You got the stuff. Now you can find ways to optimize it, get better at it, teach others, whatever it is. All right. And it's no well, it is kind of different, but very similar to a guy, and maybe you call this law of attraction, a guy who will buy first class tickets, which can work against them. If, you say, "Oh, here's a guy who doesn't have much money, but he's buying first class tickets." Yes, that can have adverse effects. But if you were inspired, motivated by buying first class tickets, riding in first class, then somewhere in your mind, you're trying to put together a formula. What's it going to take for me to keep sitting beside these rich people? It feels rich over here. They didn't close the curtains behind me. I got the hot peanuts, warm towels, got the movie. They done did everything but gave me a little jerk off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what can I do to keep this going? And then you will figure it out. That's why I like the kind of the weasel mentality. How can I weasel myself out of work? How can I weasel myself, without being a coward, by the way, because you can weasel yourself out of anything and you just be a fucking coward. You be a loser. Ask me how I know. But one thing that I know is anything that can be used for bad can be used for good. All right. Everything's a double edged sword. And this is why I'm not so quick to discard things that may work against you because that could be the very thing to work for you. So like one of you said, "Oh, I feel worthless." Depending on who you are and what you do, you can turn that into something. There's a lot of people who feel worthless. They just put that shit in their music, and people resonate with that. I feel worthless too. This is a song to cry to. You know what I'm saying? Or they just let the art, they just let the canvas have it when they start painting, whatever it is, or they just dance into their soul, you know, uh, you know, finds its way outside of the body. You know what I'm saying? The soul sets itself free. Mm. Yeah. I appreciate that. I think it's dope you wrote books because before someone can make up the narrative, you've already written it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because in case you guys haven't noticed, it doesn't matter what's being put out there if people don't read. You know what I'm saying? People always going to be just people think they're so intelligent. They don't even got to read. So long as they got an opinion, that's all that matters, man. That's just part of life. You gotta accept that because it doesn't matter. Again, it always goes back to know yourself, master yourself, be a very fair person. All right. Check in with yourself at the end of the day. All right. Always, just always humble yourself. And I realize what a lot of people mean when they say, when some people get success and they just feel extremely humble. Some people they get success and then they just start being an asshole, douchebag, feel bulletproof or whatever it is. And it may not turn out well for them. But then, I'm not trying to put myself on the pedestal, but like for me, for example, when I did get something going for me and I got my hands on a nice amount of money at once, I started to feel my head swell up. And very instantly did I realize who I was as a person. And I was like, man, I don't think it was anything that told me to humble myself, but as empowered as I felt, something pulled me back down and was like, man, just be grateful, man. There are people struggling, and you see it every day. You see people struggling all over, compromising themselves to bring in some dough. You know what I'm saying? So making themselves susceptible to all types of treatment just because maybe they weren't born with a silver spoon, or maybe they just didn't have the right formula just yet to get to where they wanted to be, man. And for the sake of them, for the sake of the people who maybe don't even have a chance in heaven to be where they want to be, man, you gotta humble yourself and always treat things as if things, can be taken away from you because they can. So Never treat it like you always gonna have it. And that's my mentality, man, because I haven't quite found a way to separate myself from survivor's remorse. It kind of means nothing to me when people around me are still struggling, you know? And the thing is, I come from an area where there are just a lot of black people. You know what I'm saying? If I drive through DC, I'm gonna see a bunch of people who look like me. I may actually be related to them. It's tough. It really is. These people are deteriorating right in front of my eyes. At one point, funny thing is, man, it's not even funny. But at one point, these people that we pass up and we act like we don't even know, they used to be the apple of somebody's eyes, man. They used to be parties surrounding these people. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Then they grow up to mean nothing to nobody. And I mean something to somebody, even if they don't, it's not convenient for people to show it. I mean something to somebody. And even if I don't feel it, I gotta find a way to mean something to me, mean something to my child. Man. This is why I'm big on priorities. Prioritize. Always prioritize. Levels of importance. People say major, don't major in minor things. Yeah, for real, man. This life is serious. It's so serious that you shouldn't take it that serious. You know what I'm saying? But also, it's still very serious. And when I say, oh, you shouldn't take it that serious, it means life is so serious that it shouldn't matter what other people had to say about you. Come on now. That's just like you go to school, right? And somebody who never met your father, whatever, or your mother, whatever, you say, "Oh, your your mother's stupid. Your mother's a cow." Whatever insult somebody could say. Like, how you gonna know my mom? How you gonna tell me about my mom? You never even met my mom, and that's how you should be carrying. That's how you should be carrying yourself. Like, how you gonna tell me about me? You don't spend as much time around me as I do. Okay, you don't even know what I'm capable of. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't try to treat it as an audition. Like, I have you know I'm very smart, and I'll show you. No, man, you fucking show yourself. You show yourself every day, and over the long haul, as momentum starts to build, you're gonna start separating yourself from those people anyway. Man, they low lives. People gonna forget about them. A lot of people who were big time in school, they ain't nothing. They ain't nothing now. Fucking crackheads or whatever they are now. You know what I'm saying? I seen it all the time, man. Seen it all the time. The downside of all of that is why I was too worried about fitting in and being popular and trying to be accepted by these people. I don't know. I never really tried to be accepted, but wished that I was accepted by these people. I wish that I was focused more so on what's to come next. You know, nobody taught me that. Nobody showed me how to think ahead. Nobody showed me how to do that. That's something I had to pick up over time. I never had a father figure, anything like that. Everything I learned, I just learned on the fly. I just be learning on the fly. That's why I'm always looking up stuff. Even things that I think I know, I still keep looking it up because you can never be too sure. You can never be too sure. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised by innovators. I wasn't raised by masterminds. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by your everyday people who had a linear way of thinking. I need money, I get a job. I get a job, then I have enough to pay bills, take care of kids. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta be very blunt with you. I didn't not commit suicide to have that way of thinking. All right. I chose to stay alive so I could live, a life that I would be proud of. All right. I ain't asking for much. I just don't want to succumb to a dying society, to succumb to what a lot of other people have succumbed to. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, like my child's mother, for example, is that just because she has some envy when it comes to me, you know, and it shows every once in a while, how I I present myself as a free man. She don't like that. You know what I'm saying? But one thing she doesn't know is that I do this. If I only had to worry about myself, kabang, boom, I'm gone. All right, fuck life. If I only had to do this for myself, if I only cared about myself, but I do this for other people who are in my position. All right, I'm trying to get to a certain place in life where people who are in my position can benefit. All right. I'm not a success story. I am nowhere near where I want to be. Okay. I want to be in a position where people can criticize me for making millions of dollars and not paying taxes legally. You know what I'm saying? I want to be in a position where people can criticize me for paying my daughter $1 million salary. There ain't no man in the world who wouldn't love to pay their daughter $1 million salary if she earned it. All right. So be it. People crazy, man. People crazy because the bar is set so low. They think so low of themselves that they couldn't possibly fathom there's something great out there for them. And the people who don't see it, they'll never have it. The people who can never dream of something like that, can scheme of something like that, they'll never have it. They won't even have a chance. All right. But for myself, yeah, I would love to have you know, a life of luxury. I guess you could say that. Really, I'm a very simple guy. I would love to have that because I really came from nothing, man. I really, I really know how to make do. It doesn't take much to keep me satisfied. You know, I could make do with staying in the house, even though right now, there's a part of me that wants to get around and stuff like that, but I don't want to do it if I gotta wear a mask. So I'll wait and just keep focusing on myself, man. So the biggest takeaway from all of this is just the outside noise is just outside noise. One thing's for certain is that there will always be outside noise. And, and I don't want to convince you that, there's a window when it comes, there are windows within your life and there's a certain time period where you can do certain things. And, maybe that window is about the size of your life, but you got to focus on what you can focus on because there's always going to be that chatter. There's always going to be the trends. There's always going to be something to make you feel insignificant, but you will always have you. And this is why, it's as corny as it sounds, this is why it's so necessary to have this type of self love. You know what I'm saying? And just do things for yourself to make you feel good. It's very simple. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes to show myself self love, or to show myself love, man, I just go buy myself something to eat, man. It's really that simple. Exactly. You just go buy exactly what I want. It might be ice cream, but I try and work on my six pack. That shit ain't really working out too well. But it might be ice cream. You know what I'm saying? It may be, I don't know, seafood. Whatever it is, man. Just look out for yourself every once in a while. I don't know if you gotta go. I don't know. It's kind of sucks to say right now with a lot of things kind of being shut down. But let's just assume there was no COVID or whatever. If you want to buy yourself a ticket to the game, whatever it is, man, just go do something for yourself, man. Be an explorer. Have a good time, man. It is. There are billions of us in this world, and within us there are billions of worlds. You know what I'm saying? And we spend so much time in the world outside of us that we don't really give this one right here in our head. We don't give it the necessary attention. We don't give it the necessary action. Like imagine if we let the world around us go to waste. You know what I'm saying? That's always a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're trashing the world around us. How can we make this world a better place? But we never really think about how can we make the world in between our ears, behind our eyes, a better place. And I feel like if we spent more time doing that, then the world around us would change. After all, a great deal of the suffering in this world is just spiritual. It really is. And I like to think as we reach a new age, a greater age of intelligence, that we will start to get more in touch with what's going on within us. A lot of people are afraid to see these things, so they've been running for a long time. I am a very hard-headed person. I had to learn the hard way of what I was running from. what's in here, what's deep in the darkness of my mind, that I have the luxury of kind of going through it. And I realized that that was one of the greatest things that I could have ever done. And now it forces me to, and I don't want to say force, I mean, because I mean, for better or for worse, it enables me to see things that it's very easy to miss with the eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's why when they say the third eye, you can quite literally see things that most people can't see. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's nerve wracking because you can see things unfold. You can call these things out, then you see them unfold, and no matter how many times you call things out as they unfold, no matter how many times you see these things and you move according to it, the people around you, they still doubt. They still doubt. You know what I'm saying? This is why you always got to bet on yourself. Don't let their doubt take occupancy in your mind. This is why I'm always big on being the having the loudest voice in my mind. Um, I don't trust anybody enough where their voice becomes the loudest in my mind, unless it comes to a certain thing where I'm dealing with, let's say, a master of sorts or a professional at certain things. So if ever I sit down to write and for whatever reason my voice isn't working, then I go think about what somebody else like a Charles Bukowski would say. And Charles Bukowski, in this case, he would say, "Well, you don't try," or quit. Or he would say, "Maybe you should drink. Maybe you should do more fucked up things." Whatever. And I'm not saying do that, but it kind of gets you in the mindset of, okay, where was he at with all of this? Maybe I should live a little. Maybe I should be raunchy. Maybe I should really let myself go. Maybe I should just be myself. That's what. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Just be myself in any event. So I always kind of make it kind of a rule of thumb to be different variations of who I am, no matter where I am, because everybody doesn't deserve, all of me. You know what I'm saying? Or certain people, they need different, they need something different from me. Or a person may need something, a different aspect of me one day and a different aspect the other day. But so long as it's who I am, uh, that's just all that matters. And you will never know who you are if you don't if it's not cemented. Now I say cemented, then you say, okay, then that's permanent. But really, you also, it has to be cemented, but you also have to be open to the changes of life. It's very natural. What you'll find is that a lot of people you know, can't accept your change, but you have to. All right. Or you will, you know, fall victim to staying in the same place you always been with the same people who do the same thing. They think it's a badge of honor to never change, but I mean, certain look at your core, sure, stay the same. Be dependable, be reliable, be kind, whatever it is. But you have to change natural selection of sorts. You have to change accordingly to the circumstances in life. Not entirely, once again, not entirely, but to some degree. All right. So with that being said, I talked entirely too much. I'm gonna head out. Um, I'm gonna hop back in here later on in the day. It's Sunday, and talk about something else. Maybe I don't know. I got to get my daughter back, so we'll figure that out. All right, but thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for the support, man. I love y'all. Take care.